Good morning, everyone. If you're new to the channel and my vlogs, welcome. I hope you keep coming back. If you're a subscriber or been following my vlogs for a while, my other videos, again, welcome and thank you. And I hope everyone will stop by the comments and introduce yourself and say hi. All right. I'm continuing my new series, My Life as a Rock Fan, with talking about REO Speedwagon, and this is my fandom in the 1990s. REO Speedwagon, and more importantly, this sets the tone for my other videos to follow, how I was introduced to the World Wide Web and social media through the first official REO Speedwagon website. But first, before I do that, take you back to I talk with my hands. Try not to do that. One thing I did want to share real quick, though. In the previous video, I was talking about REO, Speedwagon Rush, and Duran Duran all in one video, kind of a brief bullet points on each band. I did mention that I'd gotten REO's High Infidelity album and the 45 single of Don't Let Him Go as my first two things. And then I mentioned the other vinyl records that I'd gotten in 1981. But then I forgot one. I realized that after I'd uploaded the video. And what I forgot was my 9 Lives, my homemade 9 Lives 8-track. I duped this from my original vinyl record of 9 Lives, the one that I mentioned. I think I mentioned it in the previous video. Duped it. It was a blank Radio Shack 8-track. And then I recorded it from the vinyl. And I wrote down the track listing as my little kid handwriting circa 1980, whatever it was. Yep. So the tape itself is still intact. It's not broken. That being said, I don't think I would be in a hurry to try to play it in an 8-track player, if such things exist today, because I'm worried that it is tape and it's 40-something years old, and so I just put it back in its little cardboard sleeve, and there's the title. Wrote the title, the spine label for it as well. Put that back now. Good. So I'm going to keep doing these little show and tell moments where I have the artifacts themselves or the items themselves. So that was that one. And again, I'll remind everybody I do follow my handwritten notes, which I keep off screen. So I'll learn over time to be less obvious about doing this. But I'm learning. I'm new. So for this video, and again, I must also say that the REO chapter of my fan career is the most emotionally charged of all. My first big one, if you will. And I was young, and it's got a lot of history, a lot of memories, and what you're gonna hear in this video today is by no means the end of my story. I'm just narrowing the focus quite a bit. And it's difficult for me to do it because I want to tell the story eventually in its entirety, but I have to find somebody with the stamina to keep up with me talking in the real world. Hasn't happened yet. But for now, that being said, I made notes. Again, I'm going to stick to those notes. Keeps me on track. Try to keep the runtime on this video down as short as possible. Okay. So I did that. I referred to the previous videos. Don't Let Him Go, High Infidelity, 9 Lives. Okay. My entry into the World Wide Web and the first official REO fan website started with an unofficial fan club that I joined in September 1995. I had met, 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 and befriended the fan club president over the phone in several snail mail letters, postal letters, we now know there are snail mail letters, but back then that's all we had to communicate with each other. And after about, I think it was 2 or 3 months of long distance writing letters and phone calls, we became roommates. And I moved in with her, and she lived in Albany, Georgia, and I lived in Florida, and our towns were 7 hours apart. So we'd even talked about meeting up for a weekend halfway, but decided neither one of us could afford the gas or the hotel. So I guess it was cheaper to just become roommates, which is fine. So I moved in with her, and she extended the invitation. I told her I needed a roommate. And desperately, and she extended the invitation to me, and I accepted very happily. Oh wow, that was the innocent beginnings of it. So I moved in with her, and her fan club is called REO Pals International, and she started it in 1985 with a friend of hers, and this was 10 years into it. And so I walked into the fan club with her. She ran it out of her apartment, just her, no other. She did have other. Bleh. I have to learn to enunciate for the camera. She did have other staff members, but she was the only one, mostly running it out of her apartment. So she had another staff member, me, when I moved in with her, and I took on the role of the club secretary, kind of her right hand assistant. Yeah. I was in heaven. Let's just, yeah. I thought I'd won the fan lottery at that point. Didn't know if I'd ever, she said she knew the band personally and got backstage all the time. I wasn't interested in that. If it worked out for me too, that's great, but I was just happy to have an REO buddy again. I hadn't had a buddy since my friend Hope in junior high school. Hope was good too. I enjoyed my time with Hope. But this was like the next level of that, and I was, again, quite happy. Anyway, that was in September 95. And in December 1995, a fan from the United Kingdom, an REO fan from the UK called Richard Fincher, and a group, I will always give him credit for starting the fan website at that time. And Richard Fincher and a group of his computer geek buddies created the first version of www.speedwagon.com. They launched it, and I think it was December 28th. It was toward the end of December. But they took some time. Nobody knew that they were doing this. I think me and Jordan may have had wind of it, but they went out building this website and then launched it. And in fact, we have a newsletter article in the REO Pals. The REO Pals newsletter was devoted to, a feature article was devoted to, and Jordan was interviewing Richard Fincher, talking about the website, how he created it, how it started, how it took off. So, oh, and by the way, I have a 3-ring binder, 3-inch 3-ring binder, right over there in my bookshelf. All the REO Pals newsletters from the first issue in 1985 until the last one in 1999. So, it's cataloged and tabbed and sheet protectors, the whole bit. So, I went and researched this vlog by rereading that interview. It was fun. So, next notes. The website started out as something that the fans put together and ran. But then in the Richard Fincher interview, he told Jordan that the band and management made it official in April 1996. 3 months after it started, 3 or 4 months. Of course, they have time to look at it and figure out Nobody knew what the internet was back then or social media. I don't remember ever hearing about any websites to this extent that were this detailed and involved. But yeah, this was the first. So once the band got on board with it and the management, and it was no longer just a fan site, Richard Fincher would directly, from that point on, he would directly interact with the band and the management to get information for the website, for content, and confirmation about tour dates and memorabilia and this, that, and the other, whatever we needed. Whatever we needed for the website. So, and I might also add that, I need to add that REO Pals International enjoyed that same direct communication and interaction with the management and the band. So my world was very, very happy, very good. And that model of interacting with the band and the management directly, I don't think it could ever be done again. It makes me really sad. Anyway, as part of the website, REO Pals had a virtual membership application. So before it was just people have to find us through fan magazines, classified ads, old school word of mouth. Everything was old school still then. We didn't call it old school, but now we had a way to recruit new memberships from all over the world. We knew that at this point, that the World Wide Web is truly global, the World Wide Web, and so potential members were just a mouse click away. And it was REO Pals International to begin with, even before the internet, because Jordan had some members from other countries. Started out in the Pacific Northwest, and they gradually built it up to where they had international members. So that's where the name change came from. But now, it was now global interaction. So that was really cool. We were excited about the possibility. It was just new and exciting and different, and we all learned together as we went along, band management and fans. It was a really special time, and I'm proud to have been a part of it. I'm proud to be a part of it. We'll always be proud to be a part of it. So there was one, as far as what we now recognize as a social media, Facebook, TikTok, chat room, whatever. On speedwagon.com at the time, there was only one chat page. This was the most this is a printout of it from our newsletter article. And it was one chat page, and you can see how it's threaded conversations and the name of the person posting and their email address and then the message and the timestamp. Very much like what we're used to seeing today, but it's primitive, early form. And there was no separation between topics. You could post about anything and everything. No threaded conversations. It was just post, and then you replied separately later on down the page. But yeah, we recognize this format now, but back then this is what we had. And keyboard player Neil Dowdy is down here, Neil at REO. When we saw that, we knew that meant that's really Neil and a band member, because they can't give out their actual email addresses for obvious privacy reasons. But we knew when we saw that, Neil at REO, only band members could use that screen name. So we knew we could trust it. And here he is responding to the fans' questions. So that's what we did. All day, every day. One chat page. Loving it, loving it, loving it. There were other pages and other parts of the website, but this, of course, we could directly talk to them back and forth. Yep. And also, this was just the copy of the screenshot of the page we did for the newsletter that day, but this here is Sarisa from REO's management, Barrett Consola Management. She even came in and was responding to a fan. And this girl over here was saying, so she's talking to Sarisa, I don't know if you remember meeting me. You lived in da-da-da. You were so nice to me. Thank you. Made a fangirl's dream come true. Da-da. Sarisa comes back and responds, yes, I remember you. Yep, that's Sarisa. And then Neil. Other band members did get involved in the chat pages, but Neil was periodically. I think they were happy to let Neil. It was Neil's baby, and he ran with it. God, I'm getting a little verklempt here, getting a little choked up thinking about it. Happy memories. Happy, happy, happy memories. Okay, sticking to the notes. I have a Kleenex off camera in case. Okay. But once the chat page, the single chat page took off like a rocket, and then Neil was trying to keep up with all the questions, and he quickly realized, oh, this isn't going to work anymore. We had to expand our horizons a little bit. Talking with the hands. We had to expand our horizons a little bit. And then this site got updated to include 3 separate chat pages, and we separated them by topic. The first page was called the coffee break page, and that was strictly, hi, how are you doing? Checking in for the day. I'm still alive. Meet and greet page. That's it. No discussions about anything else. And the comments were moderated to that extent so that if Neil came in, he could pick and choose what page he was on that day. He knew what to expect as far as the content. The second page was the tour page, and that was strictly for discussions about the bands, whatever the band's current tour was. At the time, while this was happening, I have a CD insert here in front of me. Building the Bridge, that was their album they were touring that year. So we talked a lot about the Building the Bridge tour and the new album. But not on the tour page was just for tour dates for this. See, I just, stop. Oh my goodness. Okay, so tour page just for tour dates. Fans planning meetups. I'm going to be at this show. Can you meet me? Do anybody have extra tickets? And no discussion of backstage passes. That'll be the subject of a future video, I promise. Right now, gotta stay on the script. Page number 3 was the merchandise memorabilia swap page. Kind of like classified ads. Fans were talking to each other saying, I'm looking for this. Do you have it? I have it. Do you want it? Hooking up with email addresses privately, that kind of thing. There were we could not post pictures or GIF images. Those things didn't exist back then. It was just strictly text writing. Same format as over here. Username, email address, date and timestamp, and message. It was just like that, only times 3, each separated by topic. And the pages were color-coded, if memory serves me correctly. Coffee break page was a mint green color. Tour page was in bright yellow. Merch and memorabilia was pink magenta. So they really stood out and they popped. And they're very easy to keep up with because all you had to do was keep up with the latest conversations on each page. And it was easier for not only Neil to continue being involved with the fans as well, because we could then, just focus our conversations. It was good for everybody. But then, and this is the start of the dark side of it, and this is an important part of the story. This is the whole damn thing, really, because, anyway, I'll just keep going. So, we had to start a fourth chat page at some point. It's called the members only page. It had a black background with white text. The other chat pages were colored backgrounds with black text. This was the reverse. This was the black background, white text. It was password restricted. We had a voting committee. People had to ask for it to be admitted, like not an application. They had to request admission to the members only page via email or private message. And we had a committee of fans that voted, kind of compared notes on, do you know this person, kind of vetting them. Do you know this person? No, they're good. Have you seen them? People that we recognize as troublemakers. I'm getting ahead of it. Ha ha ha. This is so hard to do. And I was one of the first 10 fans or so. They kind of been the old timers from the beginning that is the most experienced. So I had a vote as to who got included, and the reason we did this, it was, I'm going to read this from my notes just to keep myself on track. It was started to give fans a safe place to go to get away from trolls on the other pages. And now that I'm speaking to a 21st century 2025 viewing audience, we all know exactly what that means. But again, back then in 1996, 97-ish, this was all brand new. We only knew how to use social media and the internet for good things, for happy things. And then, damn it, if somebody didn't figure out how to use it to create havoc, wreak havoc, and cause problems. And the trolls would go on the other pages, and just like they do today, nothing was different. We were seeing it for the first time. We're like, what the hell are these people all of a sudden coming in and wrecking our page and being mean and nasty? And we had to tolerate it. There was nowhere else to go. There was just those 3 pages. So eventually we all got the idea. We need a separate page where just the normal fans can go. If you want, not just, I shouldn't say it like normal fans, but peacemaking fans, they could go there and chat without having to worry about the trolls. We had a gatekeeper, we had filters in place, we had people watching the store. So nobody's going to get in here and cause problems. And then also, it was the most closely moderated and controlled because nobody would be able to get in there and start causing problems. They did, boop, you're gone, you're blocked, that's it. And now the trolls continued on their thing on the other pages, of course. We had this little retreat on the line that it worked great at first. It served its purpose quite nicely. We were all happy with it. Whew, breathed a sigh of relief. We can go on with our life. But then, for this part of the story, knowing what happened, remembering what happened that day, I can't name any names, but I'll just, looking at my notes, I'll just say that we had our first exposure to what we now know as catfishing. One internet user anonymously, fraudulently gets a relationship going with the other one, misleads them, asks for gifts, money, special favors, romantic, blah, blah, blah. And this gal that was a victim of this was a member of the members only page and a long-time user of the other 3 pages as well, so we knew who she was. And she came on the only page she could have revealed this on. But she explained what had been happening, and it had been going on for several months, at least 6 months, a long time. And she got catfished, and just recently figured out that this was a male screen name that did it to her, as catfishers do. Again, this is common knowledge nowadays. Back then, it wasn't. You have to appreciate the fact that we were all collectively seeing this for the first time. Nobody knew what to do about it. Okay, we figured it out on the fly, on the spot, but it left its effects. It left its damage. Anyway, she came onto the membership only page to expose what had been happening and talk about it. And can somebody help me with this? I don't know what to do. And we're like, we don't know what to do either. Okay, flip the page. All right, that was good. That was good. It was a male screen name. It was Mike, a bunch of numbers after it on AOL, America Online. It all happened on America Online. And she retreated to this, the gal that got victimized, retreated to the safety of the membership only page on speedwagon.com. And then again, there it served its purpose. We didn't anticipate ever needing it for that purpose, but it did. Now it's serving a much higher purpose. So I don't remember exactly what was said after that, but I remember her post about what had been going on. Mike, AOL, she was basically romance. She thought she was in a romantic relationship with a guy and he sent gifts and money, as they do now. I don't have to explain that. But it turned out it was a female fan that was doing it. Again, the familiar catfish profile today. We saw it firsthand at that time. And then parallel to that, at the same time, one of the trolls, I'm looking at my notes, trying to paraphrase. So much more I want to say, but I can't. You know how those go. One of the other true female, we knew she was a woman. Chief troublemaker of all of the other chief troublemakers. Gained access somehow to this membership only page. She would have been immediately, no, she wouldn't have the nerve. I think she found somebody to get on the page for her, kind of gain access to the page legitimately, but then she took over, because then all of a sudden she comes in and she starts posting membership only page, her real name. And those of us, the old timers and the one that started the membership, we were like, what in the... She's got some cojones to do this. She knew that she was going to get caught and that she was going to be ejected and booted from the group, and I believe we did. I don't remember. I'm fuzzy on the details, that part of it, but what I do remember is that the membership only page kind of started to trickle out, peter out, and it kind of went away. It wasn't as I think we shut it down eventually. It's like, well, screw it. The trolls invaded our group somehow. Because that was password. I said earlier was password protected. As soon as a new member was approved for inclusion into the group, we gave them their own unique password. Every person was assigned a password of some kind. So that, and Richard Fincher, the webmaster still, he could, on his end, see who was logging in. So he knew if it was legitimate voting, so you couldn't just make up your own password. So I think that this troll, we know the name, we're not saying it. I know what she did. She knows what she did too, but anyway. She hired somebody to go in for her, and this has been somebody that, we don't know this person, but they seem cool. Okay, fine. And then we watch them, we observe and monitor the comments over time. This person didn't ever raise any red flags. And then all of a sudden, right after that, like the newest person had just gotten approved for the group, and then this troll who we all knew all too well came in all of a sudden. Coincidence? I think not. So the membership only page, well, it was fun while it lasted, and it really was. And at least for the time being, I'm glad that the victim of the catfish, that was also part of our fan family, had a safe place to go to ask for help. And again, more stories after that, but never mind. Later. No, not even, I can't talk about it online. That's a private discussion for a private time, one-on-one in real life, with the personnel involved. Anyway. So my last point for this video, how am I doing on runtime? Wait a minute. Glasses. I'm squinting at my hot 30 minutes. I'm killing it. Good. See, I had to redo my notes. I was rambling too much, getting off topic too much. I've never told this, even this limited scope of my story, this much at one time. This is the big one, so this is a good rehearsal for. Nobody wants to hear it, and even if they, only another band member, somebody that's as famous as REO was and is, would understand fans like this. That's who I'm waiting for to tell my story to. Civilian, normal fans don't get it. They're not equipped to handle it. I don't mean to sound like a snob for it, but it's just not appropriate. They just want to have fun. I've got grown up shit that I have to deal with, but later. All right, so reading glasses. I don't really need them for this, but I'm looking at the playback strip on my video recorder, QuickTime player, and it shows you how long you've been recording. I always check that during my videos. I check in and say, I'm at 30 minutes. That's exactly, I want to keep the runtime down. The last video was almost 45 minutes. This is 30 minutes. That's about good. I want to keep it at that. Last point on the notes. So after the death of the members only page, the fans from the REO website and the chat pages, and again, I don't remember exactly what happened to the other 3 chat pages, if they continue on or not, but what I know is that we started finding other chat pages to be a part of, which is a good thing too. And now we're discovering the World Wide Web on the truly global scale. Other people's website, other people's pages. It wasn't just speedwagon.com. We were not the only ones. By now, AOL, Prodigy, every web browser, software company website, it was all blowing up and taking off, and so there were a lot more options, I'll put it that way. So, and again, now we're into 1987, 1988, 89-ish, 3 or 4 years later, and again, still kind of a small potatoes, small scale compared to what we all know now from YouTube with billions of videos uploaded and websites and YouTube views, and what we know today is this big, and back then it was this big still. And my notes just end by saying I made the rounds too. I still was on speedwagon.com for a little bit, but it wasn't the same though. Having that nuclear fan family on one website, 3 chat pages, band interacting with us, and also that's the end of my notes. Putting them away. Almost done though. Also, another kind of bookend experience for me was my fan club, my president of my fan club, REO Pals International, made the decision in February of 1999 that the fan club had run its course and it was time to shut it down. I disagreed with her, but she was the president, and so there it went. She closed it down. I think that was when I really started to, now I really have to rely on other websites and chat pages, and this is when I really shopped around. But here's a fun little artifact. My very first, when I joined the fan club in 95, this was the fan club membership card that Jordan sent me. Type name. She rolled it into her typewriter, typed my name. She had a rubber stamp with a date. You could change the month and the year. Ending, and then she signed it at the bottom, but it's blurry. My card got rained on and the ink smeared, but you can see ending July 1996. I moved in with her in September 95. So I officially joined. This was probably 2 months before we became roommates during our phone calls and letters phase. I actually joined. She sent me my my one and only membership packet in the mail with a newsletter, that current newsletter, membership card, photo of the band, yada, yada, yada. And those of you who remember brick and mortar fan clubs from back in the day, comment below, please. I need to share happy memories with people because it wasn't all bad. It's not all bad. A lot of good, and there's a lot more that I could tell about the good from here on out, but I'm not going to do that. But just REO is my first rock and roll love. And so, and as a footnote, recently it's come to my attention. I don't have all the details because I stopped looking for REO stuff on the web a long time ago, but it has come to my attention through some YouTube. I saw some YouTube thumbnails on the homepage of my YouTube channel where it mentioned stuff about REO breaking up, and now people are pissed at Kevin. Is Kevin an arrogant jerk? You see the thumbnail photos and the titles, and okay. The other one was bass player Bruce Hall and his wife Kimmy Sue, who I knew from back then in my day. Never met her backstage or anything like that, but I knew who she was, Kimmy Sue. Anyway, they were doing an interview on TV about it, and I just saw the thumbnail of him and her sitting on set with the interviewer and Bruce Hall and Kimmy Sue Hall, and talking about, and the subject line is that, you see the subject line, I'm like, oh crap. So ever since when I started seeing that, last time I had checked in with the band, Neil Dowdy had retired from touring. He's earned it. My buddy Trout earned it. And yes, I was not upset about that. I'm like, okay. So they'd hired a keyboard player named Derek Hilland to take his place on the tour and tour with them. So that was where I last left off. And the next thing I'm seeing on YouTube, the band broke up and people are pissed at Kevin and whatever. So I don't know what in the fork happened, but okay. So this is where I may get a little misty-eyed here. Naturally, in telling it now on the YouTube video here, I'm going, wow. I'm just going to leave it at this, that I want to know what happened, but I'm not going to go investigating it online. I can't for various reasons, but I would welcome glasses off. I would welcome praying for, dreaming about, reuniting with Kevin, Bruce, or Neil, Dave or Brian, too. They knew me as well as other band members did through backstage visits and whatnot. See, I can talk about that too. But if I could only have, if I could only have time with one band member to talk about it, it would be, well, Kevin, Bruce, or Neil, the three original band members that I grew up with. But Kevin, Mr. C, and my REO nickname is Kimmers, and always will be. And I will never use that nickname with any other band that I may end up working with or knowing. Kimmers is my REO nickname. That's it. For the record, anyway. I don't know what happened. My band is... Something happened. Maybe these thumbnails are exaggerating. Maybe it's clickbait, but I'm seeing too many of them. What the fuck is going on? I don't know. And until I'm in a real position to help them with that, as I helped them with so many other things back in the day, I don't want to know. Like the song says, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Because it's just going to break my heart. Okay. Okay, I'm squinting. 39, okay. Oh, there's something you don't want to see. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to leave it at that. See, I told you this was going to be... I knew this was going to be a really intense one. So, after this, it's going to be not as emotionally charged. Not as emotionally charged. I'll do my best to keep things more, the stories get more involved and more. Oh, ow. I think in my old age I'm getting acid tears because allergies. I get pollen and ugh. Okay, my tears burn. So, ow. Okay, I'm stopping it. Gonna go upload it. So I enabled comments in all of my videos, including all these moving forward. So don't make me regret doing that. And if anybody comes back from the shadows of the 90s and tries to screw with me, you ain't gonna get very far. Don't even play me. You'll be deleted. I moderate the comments before they're posted. Nice try, fuckers. I'm watching you guys. Anyway, all right, let me go upload it. Talk to you guys soon.